You know, after more than 30 years working with patients over the age of 50, there's one question I've heard so many times that some days it feels like every single person asks it. Doctor, why do my joints hurt all the time? Is it just because I'm getting older? And if you're watching this video with the same worry, I want to tell you something very clearly. Age may change your body, but it does not mean you have to accept living in pain. I'm 60 years old myself, and I've gone through those mornings where my knees felt stiff like rusty hinges. I know the feeling of stepping out of bed and needing a few seconds just to warm up. I know those afternoons when you sit down because your hip sends a sharp reminder every time you twist or bend. And I also understand the fear many people never say out loud. If this keeps getting worse, will I still be able to walk in a few years? Most patients who come to my clinic think painkillers are the only answer. Sure, they help you ignore the discomfort when you stand up, climb stairs, or lift something, but they don't repair anything inside your joints. And that's the part that really concerns me. We're turning off the alarm, but we're not solving the problem. Over the years, after observing thousands of patients, I discovered something most people completely overlook. Your body has a remarkable ability to fight inflammation and heal if you give it the right materials, and sometimes those materials aren't in expensive supplement bottles. They're sitting quietly, right inside your kitchen cabinet. Today, I'm going to share 5 dried fruits that modern research shows can soothe inflammation, nourish your bones, and protect your cartilage, working in a way very similar to ibuprofen, but far safer and gentler for people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and even 80s. You don't need to change your whole life. You don't need extreme diets, just small, consistent daily adjustments. Before we start, I want you to remember one thing. Your joints are not too old to heal. They're simply waiting for the right support. I'm Dr. David Warren, and if you're looking for a natural, gentle, and effective path to reduce joint pain, you're absolutely in the right place. Let's open the first door together. Let me tell you something many of my patients don't realize, and maybe you don't either. Joint pain doesn't start with cartilage, bones, or age. It starts with inflammation. When inflammation rises, the tissues around your joints swell, joint fluid thickens, cartilage loses its smooth surface, and suddenly every step, every bend, every time you stand up, feels like you're negotiating with your own body. People over 50 usually fall into 3 groups. 1, the group that thinks joint pain is just aging. They tolerate it. They move less, but the less they move, the stiffer the joints become, the weaker the surrounding muscles get, and the downward spiral begins. 2, the group that depends entirely on painkillers, but painkillers only silence the signal. They don't fix the cause. It's like seeing water dripping from your ceiling and just painting over the stain. 3, the group that tries supplements but doesn't know how to use them. Some take glucosamine for 3 months and feel nothing because they forget the most important factor. Your body needs an anti-inflammatory environment to heal. I once asked a 68-year-old patient, "Sir, how many capsules do you take a day?" He laughed and said, "I don't remember. I take them whenever it hurts." That's the problem. No strategy, only reaction. The truth is, years of silent inflammation, a diet low in antioxidants, blood sugar imbalances, poor sleep quality, gradual weight gain, all create a perfect storm, and joint pain is only the part you can see. When I guide patients to make the right adjustments, starting with small, nutrient-dense foods, the results always surprise them. And that's exactly why we're talking about 5 dried fruits today. Foods that naturally calm inflammation, support bones, and improve joint mobility. Before we talk about those 5 dried fruits, I want you to truly understand what happens inside a joint after age 50. When you know the mechanism, you'll understand why these simple foods work so well. Modern science shows our body runs 2 systems side by side. 1, the inflammatory system. This is your rapid response team. It kicks in the moment your body senses damage. When you slip, lift something heavy, or your cartilage thins, this system activates cytokines that make your joints swollen, warm, painful, stiff. In the short term, this is protective. 2. The anti-inflammatory and repair system. This is the team we rely on for healing. It needs polyphenols, flavonoids, trace minerals, natural omega-3s, vitamins K, E, magnesium, gut-friendly fiber. These help calm inflammation, improve circulation to cartilage, and stimulate repair. Here's the problem. After age 50, the repair system slows down, not because you did anything wrong, but because immune cells age, cartilage naturally thins. Digestion absorbs nutrients less effectively. Oxidative stress builds up the liver, and kidneys detoxify more slowly. So inflammation wins. That's why you feel the stiffness every morning, the sharp pain on stairs, or the clicking in your knee when you sit down. So what do dried fruits have to do with this? See, here's the interesting part. Some dried fruits contain far higher concentrations of polyphenols, anthocyanins, antioxidants, muscle-relaxing minerals, gut-supporting fiber. These compounds target the same inflammatory pathways as painkillers, but without stomach irritation, higher blood pressure, liver, or kidney stress dependency. They help slow inflammation, lubricate joints, protect cartilage, and support stronger bones. That's why I use dried fruits in nearly every anti-inflammatory plan for my patients. And now let's get to the part you've been waiting for. The top 5 dried fruits for joint relief. Number 5. Dried apricots, the moisture keeper for cartilage. Many patients are surprised when I tell them that cartilage is more than 70% water. When the body is dehydrated or electrolytes are low, cartilage becomes like a dry sponge, less cushioning, more friction, more pain. Dried apricots are rich in potassium, helping maintain fluid balance inside your cartilage and reduce that dry joint feeling. They also contain beta-carotene, an antioxidant that protects connective tissues. How to use 2-3 dried apricots in the morning. Pair with pumpkin seeds for extra magnesium. Note, people with kidney issues should limit potassium. Number 4, raisins, the warm current that wakes up your joints. If your joints feel stubborn or stiff in the morning, your muscles and ligaments may be low in magnesium. Raisins are one of the easiest natural sources of magnesium. It helps relax muscles, reduce tightness, and calm irritated nerves. They also contain resveratrol, the same compound found in red wine, known for reducing inflammation. How to use: a small handful, 20-25 raisins, best eaten mid-morning for all-day flexibility. Note, avoid sugar-coated or oil-coated raisins. If you'd like, I can continue translating the remaining sections as well. Would you like me to continue? Here's the full translation in conversational American English, as if Dr. David Warren is speaking in a YouTube video. Number 3, dried figs, the calcium, magnesium, zinc trio for weak bones. If you're over 60, you need a solid shield for your bones, and dried figs are a perfect candidate for that job. Dried figs contain calcium, which helps build bone density, magnesium, which helps your body absorb calcium, zinc, which helps repair connective tissue. On top of that, figs are rich in soluble fiber, which feeds the good bacteria in your gut, and your gut health is directly linked to your overall level of inflammation. Many of my patients had stubborn joint pain for years, and they only started to improve when they added more healthy fiber to their diet. How to use 1 or 2 dried figs per day. Pair them with a few almonds to add vitamin E. Note, try not to eat more than 3 figs a day because they're naturally high in sugar. Number 2, prunes, the balancer of your bones. After 60, most people know prunes help with digestion, but very few realize they're also a quiet assistant for your bones. Prunes contain boron, a mineral that helps your body use vitamin D, calcium, and magnesium more effectively, a crucial trio for strong bones and stable joints. They're also rich in polyphenols, which help neutralize free radicals and reduce damage to cartilage. When free radicals are brought under control, your body produces fewer inflammatory cytokines. How to use 2 to 3 prunes before lunch. Pair them with a glass of nut milk to support vitamin K absorption. Note, avoid eating prunes late at night because their mild laxative effect can disturb your sleep. Number 1. Dried cherries. The guardian of the COX-2 inflammatory pathway. If you ask me which dried fruit is the strongest for people with joint pain, my answer is always the same: dried cherries. And the reason is very simple. Dried cherries are rich in anthocyanins, a group of anti-inflammatory compounds that act directly on the COX-2 pathway, the same pathway many pain medications target. The difference is that anthocyanins don't irritate your stomach, don't raise your blood pressure, don't make you tired or drowsy, and are safe for long-term use. Many of my patients in their 70s and 80s only needed to add 10-15 grams of dried cherries a day to notice better sleep, less morning stiffness, less hip pain when standing up, easier, more comfortable walking. Cherries are also rich in quercetin, a powerful antioxidant that supports joint tissues and reduces irritation in soft tissues. How to use: 1 small spoonful, about 10-12 grams per day, mix them into oatmeal or plain yogurt. Note: avoid dried cherries with added sugar or syrup. How to use dried fruits without spiking your blood sugar. A lot of my patients ask me, "Doctor, how should I eat these dried fruits so I get the benefits without spiking my blood sugar?" And this is where we draw the line between eating for pleasure and eating to heal. You don't need a large amount. You just need to eat them the right way, at the right time, in the right portions. Here's the basic plan I often use for patients between 50 and 80. 1. Golden rule. No dried fruits late at night. Evening is when your body needs to slow down, lower blood sugar, and prepare for deep sleep. Even natural sugars from dried fruits can raise your energy too much and affect your sleep quality. Poor sleep, more inflammation, more joint pain the next morning. Best timing: in the morning before noon or before light activity. 2. The 1-1-1 formula. I usually ask my patients to try this for the first 7 days. 1 serving of dried fruit, about 10-15 g. 1 source of healthy fat, walnuts, almonds, etc. 1 source of soluble fiber, oats, chia seeds, or plain yogurt. This combo helps: slow sugar absorption, more stable blood sugar feed, healthy gut bacteria, lower inflammation, provide antioxidants, protect your cartilage. A simple meal, but surprisingly powerful. 3. Formula for morning knee or hip pain. If you feel frozen when you first get out of bed: 2 prunes, 1 spoonful of dried cherries, 3 to 4 walnuts. Eat this within 30 minutes of waking up. This trio helps improve circulation, reduce muscle stiffness, and ease inflammation early in the day. 4. Formula for hand, shoulder, or tendon pain. These areas respond very well to magnesium and polyphenols. A small handful of raisins, 5 to 7 almonds, 1 glass of warm water. The magnesium in raisins helps relax muscles, reduce tingling, and ease spasms. 5. Anti-inflammatory shield for people over 70. If you're older and your immune system feels weaker: 1 dried fig, made 1-2 dried apricots, nourish on 1-2 small spoon of dried cherries. The combination of calcium plus quercetin plus beta-carotene helps protect both bone and soft tissue. 6. How to store dried fruits to keep their nutrients. When dried fruits are left out too long, they oxidize, quickly lose their anti-inflammatory power, develop more crystallized sugars. Store them in an airtight container in the fridge or freezer. That way you can keep up to 90% of their active compounds. 7. How often should you eat them? You don't need to eat all of them every day. Just pick 2 to 3 types and eat them consistently 5 to 6 days a week to reduce swelling, ease stiffness, improve joint mobility. The story of Harold, 72 years old. I'd like to tell you about Harold, 72, a very simple, down-to-earth man I jokingly called the gardener of patience. The day he came to my clinic, he walked so slowly I thought he had just climbed 3 flights of stairs. He sat down across from me and said quietly, "Doctor, I can't even tie my own shoes anymore. Every morning it takes me an hour just to warm up my knees." I looked at his hands. Rough, strong, the hands of someone who had worked hard for many years. But his eyes were tired. Tired from the pain, tired from the new limitations that aging had brought into his life. Harold used to be a carpenter, building tables, fixing doors, making little shelves for his grandkids. Those used to be his greatest joys, but years of joint pain slowly made him give those things up. "I'm scared to use the saw now, Doc. My hands shake and sting like they're full of needles." His voice cracked a little when he said that. I didn't want him to just get by. I wanted him to get his life back, the life he had worked so hard for. So we started with very small changes, adjusting meal timing, adding healthy fats, and choosing a group of dried fruits that matched his condition. Harold chose prunes, dried cherries, and a few walnuts every morning. He laughed and said, "I don't know why you've got me eating what sounds like a health breakfast for young fitness people." But he did it, every day, consistently. 3 weeks later, Harold came back. This time, he walked faster, still a slight limp, but that fearful, hesitant way of moving was gone. I asked him, "How are you feeling now?" He took off his shoe, held it up, and said, "I tied this myself. At my age, being able to do something that simple again feels like being a kid." I'll never forget that moment. Joint pain slowly steals away the little things, the simple actions we never used to think about. But when the body gets the right nutrients at the right time, with a little patience, it starts giving those pieces of life back. Now Harold is back to building small wooden shelves as gifts for his grandkids. He told me, "I'm not as strong as I was at 40, but I've taken back a part of my life I thought was gone forever." What makes me happiest is not that he's completely pain-free, but that he feels capable again, and still has the strength to do the things he loves. A small favor before you go. If you're still here, it means you truly care about your health, and I deeply respect that. Not everyone has the patience to listen, to understand their body, and to change step by step the way you're doing now. And now I want to invite you to do something very small, but something that can help thousands of other people like you find a natural way to ease their joint pain. Click like if you found this video helpful. Hit subscribe if you want me to keep sharing more tips to help people over 50 reduce joint pain, get stronger, sleep better, and live healthier. And please leave a short comment. You can just write one word, less pain. Or if you're dealing with something specific, you can write knee pain, hip pain, wrist pain. I read every single comment, and those messages help me understand what you need so I can create the next videos that truly serve you. Every comment you leave doesn't just help you. It also helps YouTube show this video to more older adults who might be in pain and don't know where to start. Thank you for taking care of yourself and for being here with me. One last question for you. Before we finish, I want you to take a few seconds, just a few, and ask yourself a very simple question. If my body still has the ability to recover, am I willing to give it a chance? In more than 30 years of practice, I've seen so many patients walk into my office with tired eyes, disappointment, and a sense of resignation. They believe joint pain is the price of aging. That after 60 or 70, everything only goes downhill. But I've also seen some beautiful moments. An 80-year-old man told me he could stand up from a chair without using his hands. A woman of 65 proudly said she could finally play with her grandkids without her knees screaming in pain. A 70-year-old told me, "I don't want to be young again. I just want to feel comfortable living in my own body." And that is absolutely possible. Your body has not abandoned you. It's simply waiting for you to support it in the right way. With anti-inflammatory nutrition, small habits, and steady consistency. Change doesn't usually show up overnight, but it does show up. In that one morning when your joints feel a little less stiff, in that one day when walking feels a bit lighter, in that one week when your sleep is deeper, in that 1 month when moving around becomes easier. Those small changes, added together, can restore a part of your life you thought was gone. If you've listened all the way to this point, I truly believe you're choosing yourself. You're choosing to live more actively, more strongly, and more freely in your own body. I'm Dr. David Warren, and I always believe age does not decide the quality of your life. New habits and new beliefs do. I'll see you in the next video.